I now give the floor to the distinguished representative of the Federated States of Micronesia.
Mr. President, Excellencies, distinguished guests, I make this statement on behalf of the 12 Pacific Small Island Developing States represented in New York. I align our statement with the one to be delivered by the distinguished representative of Tonga on behalf of the Pacific Island Forum. Mr. President, on this momentous occasion, we warmly welcome one of our leaders from our region, His Excellency Prime Minister Alatoi Ismail Kalsakau of the Republic of Vanuatu, and his delegation from the capital to our meeting today. We thank His Excellency for his introductory remarks on this very important resolution and for Vanuatu's excellent leadership and commendable work. We also want to thank the members of the core group for their leadership and commitment to the principles of this resolution. We particularly draw attention to the following major elements of the resolution. 1, climate justice and equity, including in the context of legal consequences for loss and damage caused by climate change. 2, the centrality of scientific consensus for climate change. 3, the need for legal clarity on applications to address climate change arising from multiple multilateral instruments and intergovernmental processes, in addition to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. 4, the key interlinkages under international law between climate change and the enjoyment of human rights by individuals and peoples, including by indigenous peoples and local communities. 5th, the status of small island developing states under international law as especially affected states in the context of our particular vulnerabilities to the adverse effects of climate change. And last, the need for urgent and ambitious action to counter the existential threat of climate change, including by limiting global average temperature increase to no more than 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. These elements are important not only for the Pacific, but for the world, and we urge the International Court of Justice to address these elements, among others, in the eventual advisory opinion. Excellencies, this resolution was born from Pacific youth who called upon our leaders to use international law as an instrument to further highlight the pressing need to take ambitious action on climate change. I would also like to recognize the world youth for climate justice, for their passion, and for bringing this issue, important issue, throughout their own countries. This call has been accepted and echoed at all levels in the Pacific, from our youth to our civil society organizations to our leaders, and we are heartened that it reverberates today in this great hall through the co-sponsorship of more than 130 countries, and we look forward to the adopted by consensus. We thank all delegations who co-sponsors the resolution and those that have not co-sponsored but supported it. We commend the approach by Vanuatu and the core group to conduct open, consultative, and transparent consultations which have enabled the wide participation of the entire UN membership. The remarkable attendance at all informal consultations demonstrates that not only the importance of this critical issue to the wider UN membership, but also our increased willingness to work together as a global family. Excellencies, the adoptions come at a pivotal moment at a time when multilateralism is regaining momentum. In November of 2021 and 2022, we saw the successful adoption by consensus of major covered decisions for the UNFCCC COP26 and COP27 in Glasgow and in Egypt that create a path forward on climate ambition. In December 2022, parties to the Convention on Biological Diversity agreed to the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework to halt and reverse biodiversity loss. And earlier this month, state parties on the text for an internationally legally binding instrument under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea on the conservation and sustainable use of marine biological diversity of areas beyond national jurisdiction. The adoption of this resolution is yet another marker that multilateralism is still one of our most effective tools to solve the problems we have together. The fact that this resolution was adopted with such wide support sends a powerful, unambiguous signal to the Court of the strong interest and commitment of member states to protect the climate system and give confidence to the Court to provide a comprehensive and robust answer to the international community. Excellencies, in closing, we want to remind you all that today's adoption, while important, is just the beginning of the process, and we call on all states and stakeholders here today to begin preparing for the next phase of submissions. We encourage good faith submissions done in concert and with constructivism that will support and assist the Court in answering the question that we, the General Assembly, have asked of it. Climate change affects us all, and we should ensure all our voices and concerns are heard by the Court to enable a robust and effective advisory opinion on climate change. This is a significant moment for all of us, and we steer the world from climate devastation. We call on all states to turn their attention to the essential actions that we need to address the existential threat of climate crisis and to create a world where our children and future generations can live and thrive in a clean, safe, and healthy environment. Thank you very much, and Kiriso Japur, Mr. President.
I thank the permanent representative of Micronesia for his statement.